Hey, good evening, everyone. For those who are joining us for this session today, welcome so much. Today, we are going to learn about M-Pesa APIs, and we already have our guest in the house. For those of us who are joining our channel for the first time, it's always free to subscribe, to share our content, and also you're also able to learn quite a number of things in our community. Welcome and feel at home. We already have our guest speaker in the house, Joseph Mbuku. He's a software engineer from Safaricom PLC, and he's going to take us through the day and what he has for us to be able to learn. Joseph, welcome.
Thank you, Douglas. Give me 1 minute as I set up. All right, confirm you can hear me.
Yes.
All right. So, good evening, everyone, for all of you joining us. Thank you, Douglas, for inviting me. I think it's a great pleasure to be here and to be able to share some of the insights on integrating with M-Pesa APIs. So yeah, as Douglas has mentioned, my name is Joseph Mbuku, a software engineer at Safaricom, currently working as a front-end developer. But yeah, we'll go through, can be able to also share on the APIs integration, and hopefully we'll be able to learn as much as we can. So I think can allow me to share my screen. So yeah, right. Okay, so let me share my screen. Second. So for most of you, I could have seen your questions. Like I can see the couple of beginners. So I think I will just start from scratch, from basically what APIs are and what's and basically what we do and how you can be able to leverage using M-Pesa APIs on your own websites or even client websites for those who are building for partners out there. Right. So okay. I'm sharing my screen. Douglas can see my screen.
Oh, yes, it's very visible. You can proceed.
Okay. I think Douglas also helped. You can feel free to interject and ask a question on the live chat. Douglas will be checking to answer it. So you can see something on my screen here. Let me just move this a bit. So yeah, So basically, for the beginners in the room, or maybe anyone who has never interacted with an API, so an API is basically like a bridge. Let me just go back there. So it's called that an API is like a bridge between your front-end system and your back-end system. So I think there's a common example that is usually given for restaurants. So think of it as when you visit a restaurant, you can order food, you can order some food, and then the waiter goes ahead to the kitchen, gets the food, and brings it to you. So the waiter in this case, you can think of them as the APIs. So you can have a front-end system, and then on the front-end system, you can request for some particular services in the backend, and then the API will be able to connect you to your backend, and then from the backend, you can be able to return those services. So in our case here, we'll be checking how that happens in M-Pesa. So and the very first place to start is on Daraja. So for someone who has never interacted with Safaricom APIs, so the very first place is you'll come and search on Google Daraja. Okay. So Daraja is a platform that we've built where we've exposed all the Safaricom APIs regarding payments. Okay. So common use cases you've seen, maybe if you've been to Naivas or Carrefour, once you do shopping, there's usually like a prompt. Sometimes they can ask you for your phone number, and then they send a prompt for you to put in your PIN and then just check out. So we are going to look at some of those integrations. You can also do the same for your own web system, whereby you can build a website, and maybe if it's an e-commerce site, a user can be able to click on buy now, and then you can just send a prompt, and the user will just put in the PIN without having to go to M-Pesa and put in a pay bill number and go through that process. Okay, so those are some of the services can see. And then the supermarket team, they do something called a callback. So where they can just query the transaction that you just made and then see if the request has come. So that's why once they prompt, sometimes, or rather once you pay, sometimes they try to, you can see them like trying to refresh with your phone number or something, and then trying to query the status of that transaction. So those are some of the services that you're going to go through. Basically, as I was just setting up here, the very first step is just starting on Daraja. So just come and search Google Daraja. For those, so once you go to Daraja, just this is the landing page. So once you're here, you can. So this one is there's. I think for those who have been maybe to some of the dev talks, like Decode and all that, I've heard of Daraja 3.0, which is coming, which will also have a marketplace for the team to be able to actually interact with, to be able to query questions on that marketplace and see some of the, it's like Stack Overflow, in short, for the many questions that we've been receiving around integrations. So I hope this is okay. It's okay. So now, so as you can just see, if you don't have an account, you can just log in. I've already logged in. So, but let me just log out. So if you don't have an account, you can just come here and click on login or sign up. So create an email address and a password. Okay. So I think since I've already done that, I'll just log in. So I've logged in. So once you log in, you can see there's this place called My Apps. So now here you can create a new application. So I think for those who have never interacted with this. So this one is like, okay, you can create different clients where you can be able to get a consumer key and a consumer secret. So basically, those ones will allow you to be able to send APIs for to be able to send any APIs. So the APIs are protected by a token. So the very first step, you have to authorize yourself. Then once you're authorized, the token that you get is the one that you'll use to send the rest of the APIs. So now, to be able to get the username and password for that, you can just come and create a new application. You can create a sample application, okay? So this one is just purely for test purposes. So I'm gonna start here, and then we are going to go through each of the API products that we have one by one, okay? So I think just to basically recap till there, we've just seen an API. I hope you basically understood that bit. So this APIs is just to allow you to be able to connect your website with Safaricom's services, okay? Yeah, so let me create a sample test app, something like that. So now once you're on Daraja, you can come and create this simple test app. So now, depending on what you're trying to do. So for example, there are a couple of API products that you want to be mapped with this particular app. So let's say you are the developer hired to maybe integrate M-Pesa for Naivas. So you can call it maybe Naivas, okay? Maybe you have another client or even your own application, okay? So let's say your own personal portfolio site, maybe you can call it, let's say Coca-Cola, okay? You can just, so those are the different apps that, so you can have as many apps as you want doing different services, okay? So basically now for this demo purpose, you're gonna call us our sample test app. So we are going to go through each of these APIs so that you can be able to understand what they do. But for now, we can say, let's say we want to enable Lipa na M-Pesa. So for this sample test app, so basically be very careful, or maybe once you're creating this app, you can edit it later, but once you're creating it, ensure that you've selected the products that you want, okay? So Lipa na M-Pesa, we are going to go through that in the next few minutes. And then there's M-Pesa Sandbox. So for my case, I'll just select everything at the moment. So Bill Manager, it's a very interesting one. We're going to look into it. B2B Express Checkout, and then M-Pesa Ratiba Sandbox. So we are going to go through this. So allow me just to select all of them for now and create app. So the app is created successfully. Yeah, so this is the sample test application. So as you can see on the sample test application, these are the API products that we can use. Bill Manager, all this. So now with this, we can be able to go ahead and get the credentials. And so even when you're going to production, which we will see that towards the end of this learning session, you can be able to get the same consumer key and secret for a production shortcode, okay? So as you can see here, I don't have a particular shortcode. A shortcode is a pay bill, a till number, yeah, by goods, basically a shortcode. So basically, if you're going live, I'm sure for the client or even for yourself, you need a shortcode, maybe a till number where the money can be going, or basically receiving shortcode, okay? So so that's basically it. So let's go ahead and check. So you can test the credentials, but for now we don't need to do this. So we'll just go to my apps again. So let's go ahead and check each and every all our APIs here. Okay, so you can see there's some filters. Authorization, remember this is the very first API call that you are going to make. So in your code, you need to make this first call to get authorization. So this one, you'll get a token. So let's go to it. So this is the documentation here. So as you can see here, this is the endpoints for Postman. Let me see if we can be able to put it on Postman and test it out. But technically, so this is the very first API call. I'm sure most people get confused around where to get started. So when you're integrating, let's say, when you're integrating, I think we'll go to the code in the next few. When you're integrating, you need to first of all do the authorization call. You can come here to your simulator. As you can see, I have two apps. So I'll just click on the second one that we created. On the simulator here, it automatically put in my consumer key and consumer secret. So we are using basic auth. Okay, sorry. So we are using basic auth. So so this consumer key and secret, this is the username and this is the password, okay? And then you get a token. So once you can click on the, it's called what? You can click on the simulator button. And as you can see, we've successfully made our API call. And this is the access token, okay? So this is the token now I can use to go ahead and do the next API calls, okay? I think will be easier to show it maybe practically or on Postman. So we've added a couple of integration for the most popular languages. So just you can feel free to check. So this one is the JSON values. You can see the integration to do the same in C Sharp. So how to basically arrange your code to put in the headers and all that and just do a normal API call. In JavaScript, I think we're gonna be using JavaScript in my example. But yeah, so basically your headers, as you can see, you'll put the authorization is basic auth. And here it has already generated our token. And then this is the endpoint. So once you just copy this, it will automatically do this API call. Okay, so in Java, in Go, and on and on, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, and Swift. Okay, so basically you can just it's copy and paste. You can just copy this and put in your code, and you can automatically just have integrated this first API call, which is for getting a token. Okay, so let me close this. Just click away. Right. So that's it. Okay. So so now once you get the token, so as you can see, you can feel free to read through this documentation at your own later time. So the API generates token for authenticating your API calls. So let me see if we can try put this on Postman just shortly. Okay, right. Let me share the screen. You can confirm if you can see my screen, Douglas. On the, can you see my Postman?
Not yet. For the Postman, not yet.
Okay. Let me reshare. Okay, I think I wasn't sharing. Can you see now?
I'm still seeing the browser or Daraja.
Okay. Let me Let me try again.
Visible.
Okay, thank you. Right. All right, so we can proceed. So I have just imported the APIs on my Postman collection. So I'm using an extension on Visual Studio Code to basically simulate my Postman. You can always feel free to check out this extension. So it's a Postman extension. Yeah. So now I've already gotten all the APIs. So I think for what I was trying to mention earlier, so the first API call that we've made, which one was this one for getting credentials. So as you can see, when you come to authorization, it's using basic auth. So now, as you can see here, now the username and password will be now the will be now this consumer key and secret. Okay. So now once you copy this consumer key and secret on your username and password, it should be able to simulate the same request. Okay. So maybe I can just do that practically. So that you can see. So it's good also to test it out on Postman so that now from here, you can be able to integrate to your front-end channel, okay? So it could be a mobile app, it could be any. Okay, so like that. I think, let me confirm the endpoints. Yeah, I think the endpoint remain the same. Yeah, so when you send this, yep. As you can see, my request went successfully. Okay. So that's basically technically it on integrating the first. So now once you get this token, we will use this token to do the other API calls. So let's get through one of the most common ones, which is C2B payment. So C2B means customer to business. Okay. So basically what we usually do. Okay. So let's go to payments. So under payments, so remember the very first step we've now authorized. So right now we already have a token to be able to authorize the rest of the APIs. So you can see all these APIs. You cannot be able to send any of these API calls without this first token. Okay. So remember now in your code, let's say when a user clicks on pay now, you should first generate a token, then I use the token to do the rest of this. So let us use, okay, let's go through each one by one, and then we can be able to do a couple of tests, okay? So starting with the first one, the dynamic QR code. So I think so far I've seen this on Naivas only. Pretty much, but it's I think would really recommend devs to also start utilizing this. It's really easier for a person paying with a dynamic QR code. I know we've mostly experienced this whereby we are in the supermarket and people are just taking a lot of time going to pay bill and having to type in the pay bill or the till number, then the amount and all that, okay? So with a dynamic QR code, for now users or some of you who have used the M-Pesa app, so when you go to your M-Pesa app, at your top right corner, there's a bit to scan QR code. And for those, or rather you can just see the pop-up scan QR code. So with that, you can be able to click on the scanning. So in Naivas, I think, or in a very few merchants I've seen whereby you can go and make an order, and then you go to your M-Pesa app and scan a QR code. It automatically picks the pay bill of the merchant and the amount that was highlighted for you. And for you, it's just to authorize the payment and check out. Okay. So you can do that for with your own application with the same with this API call here. So you can see you can use this API to generate a dynamic QR code, which enables Safaricom customers who have Safaricom app, my Safaricom app or M-Pesa app, to scan your QR code response code to capture the till number and amount, then authorize the buy goods and services, and select clip and M-Pesa for merchant outlets. So this one is specifically, you can build this for merchants, okay? So this is why I was saying, like, there are devs here who can be building this on behalf of maybe a client, like let's say Naivas, for example. So if you are tasked with building this for Naivas, you can come and utilize this API call. So for the request body, you can say maybe this is the test supermarket, invoice, the amount, the it's called what, this API, the credit party identifier. So it could be the phone number or the pay bill. So basically, this is your payload on a post request, and the size. So you can see all these the values here, they're explained here. So what is the size of the QR code, the image and pixels and all that. So for those maybe who have seen it in Naivas, immediately now you've already checked out, a QR code is generated, and then you can scan on the merchants, or rather on the person at the till, whoever is checking you out. There's usually a QR code generated. So you can choose to scan that with your M-Pesa app, and it will automatically pick these values. Okay. So if you have a website as well, you can always, let's say users are already checking out, you can feel free to generate a QR code where they can just scan and pay. Okay, instead of having to put in the pay bill. Okay, so this is the very first one. So we can go through the rest so that we cannot waste a lot of time there. So there's this M-Pesa Express. Okay, so this is the most common one, the SDK push. Okay, so we are going to test it out. I think don't know how we're gonna do this. So for this SDK push, so this one, I think this is the most common one. I think even I think it's actually also integrated on Nini. It's also integrated on eCitizen, whereby you can just put in your phone number, and then an SDK push is that input, is that pop-up that tells you, do you want to pay this to this merchant, enter your PIN. Okay, so this is the most common integration. So and you can do it yourself. So behind the scenes, what happens? So these are the values. So if a user clicks on the button, let's say pay now, they put in their phone number. So their phone number will be the party A. So party B is your till number, where the money will be going. The phone number is also the same. Just return, put in the same phone number. Your phone number will now reflect under party A and under the phone number. This is a callback URL, maybe to basically, once the payment is successful, you can maybe do another callback to your system, whatever you want to do. Maybe an account reference, maybe what have they said they want to pay for. Yeah, for those using it's called what? For those using a pay bill, then the amount is captured here. So now, when you send this API call, so immediately the user okay, so this is a post request. So when you integrate this on your code, the user will automatically see the prompt from our end to put in their PIN number to authorize this API call to proceed. So once they put in their phone number, once they put in their PIN, the transaction will be successful, and you'll see a couple of responses. So this is the response, the results. So for a successful response, you'll get something like this: service requested processed successfully. The amount was that. This is the person who received basically the transaction code, the transaction date, and the phone number that made the request. So maybe you can use this to store it in your database or something because this payment is already successful using an STK push. Okay. So then if the user did not maybe put in the correct PIN or something went, or they canceled the STK push, you can see this request canceled by the user. You can also show it to the user. So it's also with okay, so now here you can put a sample test for number. So this one, when you test it, so feel free, actually you can test this on Daraja even right now or even after the call. Just put in your phone number here as party A and also your phone number as party B, and then come and click on simulate. You'll get a prompt on your phone number with to put in your PIN. Okay. So this phone number here is just for test, but technically that's what the express checkout means. Okay, so we can go to customer to business. Okay. So for this one, you can see there, this register, it's basically almost works the same. It allows the receiving payment notifications to your pay bill. So this API will enable you to register the callback URLs, which you can embed within your till number. So it's basically functioning the same as what we've just checked out on Express. So you can feel free to just go through this documentation. It's technically to what we've just seen there. And you can use this to validate basically a particular state of a transaction, and then you can see if it's accepted or rejected. So you can also simulate that here. So I don't have, okay. So let's say you're trying to, so this one is just to help you build your code, but the actual API, you can just feel free to use the Express API. So now if you want to simulate a completed response, so you can just say, you can just come and integrate this, and you can see a sample completed response, a sample completed response called what, feedback. And then you can also test out a canceled request. So if a user canceled, yeah, so you can see the results here is the response type is it was canceled, and you can see so this success, it means the API just went successfully, but the Nini was actually canceled, the response. So in your end, you can just use the Express. Actually, that's what we recommend. So you can use the Express to be able to generate the pop-up. So B2C now, what is a good example I can give with B2C? So so B2C is basically like you as a business trying to like money coming from your till number to a person's phone number. Let's say you're trying to pay someone. Let's say you have employees and you're trying to pay them from your short code to their phone numbers, okay? or rather you've seen maybe, let's say, a good example is betting companies. Okay, so let's say you've betted, and or rather you are building an API to integrate for a betting company, let's say like Betika, for example. So if you've already won a bet, so how does the money get disbursed? Okay, so that's usually a B2C. B2C means business to customer. So money will come from the betting companies, it's called what? Betting companies short code all the way to your short code to your phone number. Okay, so if you're integrating for a company that does disbursements, okay, so as you can see, for payouts or bulk disbursements, this is what you use, a B2C API. So now this is what you'll come and integrate. Okay, I think it's a bit clear. So I can just check the documentation here. Yeah, and you can also do a simulation. Command ID. So yeah, so like you see now, for example, this could be a salary payment, could be a business payment, a promotion payment. So this is how betting companies are able to pay somebody who has won, or any other example, there are many examples where a business might want to send money from their shortcut to their customer. Okay, so that's a B2C payment. So I hope it's making a bit of sense. So let's continue with some of the other APIs. Transaction status. So now this is a very common one that is usually used. So let's say a user has already paid, and you might want to see the transaction status of that. Some customers say maybe they've paid and you're not sure. So you can query the transaction status of a particular API. Okay. So you can just put in the transaction ID. You can just ask the user or rather to share the transaction ID, or rather this is usually, I don't know how you can use it, but the simple explanation is you can use this to query a transaction of a particular status that has just been made, or even one that was made a long time ago. As long as you have the transaction ID, you can put in there in case of anything. So just trying to see whether we can we can test this identifier type. So you identify, remember the type of organization receiving the transaction. Was it money sent to a phone number, till number, or a short code, a pay bill, that is? Okay, so let's say MSSDN, and then just simulate. I don't know what has gone wrong. Right? We'll check it out, maybe because I want to go to maybe showcase maybe a sample on a demo. So technically that's it, but and then go to answering questions. So I think these are one of the most common APIs. So transaction status is just to do that. Account balance. So now you can use this API to just request the balance on a particular shortcode. So if you're already trying to check if maybe your buy goods shortcode or pay bill has enough money, you can just use this API endpoint to test that. So basically just when you come here, just put in the shortcode. Okay, just like that. So you can see party A is the shortcode, okay? And then you can be able to see the balance left on it. I think for this particular, you can, on the response description, you should be able to see that. I think once you try to do it practically on your, so you can see the sample request body, so the results. So this one is a result with an actual value or actual balance. So you can see your working account has maybe 7p or 700,000. You can see now it's called what? You can now see the results of your shortcode. Okay, so and this is what you can use maybe to probably if you have a dashboard and it's receiving some money, you can use it maybe to check once users have already made payments there. You can use that API to check the current balance on the shortcode. So reversals, I think a bit of it's self-explanatory, but here on the reversals, you can use this to basically reverse an already made transaction. You can see time is really flying. And then tax remittance. So this one is a new one, but it enables businesses. So it's not for individuals, for business to remit tax to KRA. So we are making it easier to be able, you as a business, to be able to directly pay your taxes to KRA. So you can also use this, it's called what? This API to make the payment. So basically the request body looks like this. You can send the amount that you want, the party, the KRA values, and then where is the money coming from? So it's coming from your shortcode all the way to KRA's shortcode and something like that. Okay, so this is your own shortcode, and then party B is the amount that will receive. You can see it will receive the money, and then now you can. That's how you can basically pay your remit your taxes as a business. Okay, so we are making it easier for devs and also businesses and developers to also integrate for businesses such. So this can be like business opportunities. As if you are a freelance developer, you can you can come here under Daraja and pick some of these API services and implement it for businesses out there. Okay, because there are many businesses trying to get or really suffering, maybe trying to maybe pay taxes and all that as a business. Okay. So now, most of them you might not really need to use them. So this business pay bill, so this one will allow you as with your own business account to be able to pay to another business account. So this is the API that enables that. Okay. So if you already have an M-Pesa app for business, you can be able to, instead of like withdrawing the money to your Safaricom phone number, then used to pay to a pay bill. So you can be able to do like a business to business payment. Okay. Something like that. I think I'll just go a bit faster because there are so many. And then if you have a question on a particular one, we'll get back to it. Okay. So business by goods, I think just basically just to hover over it, you can see it's services directly from your business account to a till number. So this one was directly to a pay bill. This one is directly to a till number. Then bill manager. Bill manager is also a new one that we've also put it out there. So for bill manager, you can integrate this and be able to reconcile payments at the end of it's like it's almost working as okay, let's say your rent. Okay, so as an organization, you can configure bill manager where it can be billing. It can be billing, maybe let's say you are the landlord. It can be billing the customers once you set it up. So you can set a bill manager maybe as a landlord, or maybe you have a school for parents to pay fees, or rather as a dev, you can approach a business and ask them to configure bill manager. And then now every end of the month, they'll be getting these prompts to be able to pay. Basically, you see, you can see it's sending a reminder. Maybe your rent is due by this date, something of that sort. And then the user can be able to basically, it's like invoicing, okay? It's like the way you can send an invoice of work done. So basically, Bill Manager will enable that. So on your request body, you'll now put in maybe the person's name, their due date, let's say their rent, if it was rent, their phone number, and all this. And then, or rather, even as a small business owner, let's say people pick things on credit, okay? So you can invoice them. They had food for 700 and water. So this bill manager will send to them like a bill. They need to pay 800 shillings, and then they can be able to basically, you see, it can be able to send the invoice successfully to them. So this one, it's like a notification service that you can, or rather a bill or an invoicing service that you can be able to, as a business owner, be able to send all your customers a reminder of a particular bill that they need to pay and all that, okay? So you can feel free to leverage on these APIs and also integrate it on your, depending with your use case. Okay, so for this one is another business to business. So this one, it will enable merchants to initiate USSD push to a till, enabling their fellow merchants to pay from their old TIN numbers and vendors pay bill. So basically, B2B Express checkout is the same case that was happening to your own personal phone number, whereby a prompt was sent to be able to put in your M-Pesa PIN and then to be able to complete a payment. So for this one, B2B is for two businesses, let's say a business that has a pay bill and another one that also has a shortcode and another one that has a shortcode, you can directly send a prompt to this other person's shortcode, and then they'll just get a prompt to just put their PIN and then make payments directly from business to the other business, okay? And you can see some of the screenshots here. You're about to send 5,000 to a particular organization. They say yes, and then they say okay, and then just like that, the payment is made, okay? So that is a sample express B2B basically is express checkout, means business to business doing that. B2C is so now remember, as I had mentioned, for this account top up, it enables you to load funds to business to customer shortcode directly for disbursement, okay? So let's say it's a short, okay, let's use the betting companies again. So if they want to top up money directly to the shortcode, they can use this B2C account top up, and once the money gets to that shortcode, they can be able to basically disburse the amount, okay? As you can see, it loads funds to a B2C shortcode directly for disbursements, right? So B2C, remember, it's business to customer, which means business sending money to customers for number, like how you get your payout for betting, or maybe a disbursement, maybe it was a food relief or a grant, yeah. So M-Pesa Ratiba. So I think this is the most common one, and for developers, you can also integrate Ratiba for users who want to get automatic deductions, or rather like it's called what, a standing order, but for M-Pesa. So for those who have not heard of M-Pesa Ratiba, if you go to your M-Pesa app, you can see this an app called M-Pesa Ratiba, a mini app called an M-Pesa Ratiba, where you can go, let's say you have chamas and all that, you can go and set up, or rather maybe you send money every end of the month to your parents or even to your siblings and whoever. So you can go and set up like these automatic deductions. So you can go either select send money, or money going to a pay bill, or going to a buy goods. So, and you can set up a date and the amount. So every time it gets to that date, the money will automatically be sent to that person, or automatically go to that chama payment, or automatically go to that pay bill payment, okay? So that is M-Pesa Ratiba. So that is now currently how it's working on the M-Pesa app. You as devs, or for all of us here learning, you can do the same. You can leverage the same, and let's say you've built a system that is maybe needs people to subscribe. Okay, so okay, or it's a subscription service. Let's say you've created a company for hosting, okay, and people need to pay for hosting every end of the month. All right, so you can set up this M-Pesa Ratiba whereby users on your own system can be able to set these automatic deductions whenever it gets to that time of payment. Okay, so something of that sort. I don't know if you can be able to do all this or this today, but you can, I think, have you can also, we can just, I think as you can just check on the documentation, so you can see a sample response body. So the request, this is the request, so you can just say, I want this at this particular start date, and this is the end date of the standing order. So it's actually a standing order. The way you can set a standing order for your bank to be deducting money every 25th, let's say, for example. It's deducting money, maybe going to a SACCO, or deducting money to go somewhere else or to send someone. So we are using the same here for it's called what? For this M-Pesa Ratiba. So basically that's it. I think, let me hurry up. Yeah, I think we've gone through most of them. So those are all the APIs that we are using. So you can go security. This is for the authorization. Payments, I think we've gone through most of them. Disbursement, the B2C one that I was just mentioning. If you are like an organization sending money to customers, like a betting company, this is the API that you will integrate for them. Experience-wise, you can see the transaction status, the account balance, the reversals, and bill manager to send notifications for payments, okay, or invoicing. So we've gone through all these APIs. I don't know if there are questions so far, but give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry. So, sorry about that. Yeah. So now, let me show on Postman. So now remember, we can do a C2B payment. I don't know if I can try use Douglas phone number. But so when you're doing your integration, so the very first step, remember we've done this API call. I think it has expired by now. So let me resend another one. So we've gotten this token. So once you get this token, let me copy it. Let's say we are going to do the most common one, which is the STK push. Okay. So I think it's the initiate Lipa M-Pesa online. Let me check the body. Yeah, I think this is it. So now you'll come to authorization. So once you already made the initial token, so the next will be the authorization will be bearer token. Then paste the token that you've already generated here. Okay, so that's what I was mentioning. The very first step is you have to send this token to get you have to send this API to get a token. So once you get the token, it's what you'll use to authorize all the other APIs. Okay. So let's say you're doing C2B. Okay. So you'll come under authorization, bearer token, and then paste it there. Okay. So let me check the body. So here you'll put in, so on your code, you can put in the short code of the organization receiving it, the amount, the MSSDN of whoever you want to get the prompt, and the bill ref number. So technically just that's it. So right now we haven't done all that, but I can, let me try get these values from a simulator. So we are using this express checkout. Then now I can start from there. So I'm gonna use this shortcode. Okay, I'm gonna use that shortcode. I'm gonna I wonder what I'm. Okay, let me read. Oh, I've gone to query. Sorry, that's what I was wondering. We were querying that was querying the status of the of this transaction. So let me just redo again. So you just come to simulate. So I want to get all these values. Just click on simulate. So as you can see, this is our JSON value. So I'm gonna copy this entire body. Come to Postman. It's this one, initiate Lipa na M-Pesa online. So bearer token, that one is set up correctly. So we go to body. So I want to replace all this with this, okay. And then I think authorization is okay. So let's send. Yep. So you can see our request went successfully. So if I change this for number here and put in like, maybe Douglas can confirm if you'll receive this SDK push. Let me see. But you can feel free to play around with this example.
Okay, you can.
Let me try prompt you.
Okay.
But basically, this is it. So this is all you need to do. So for testing, you can just come to simulate. Once you click on simulate, you can get some credentials to play around with, especially if you don't have the shortcode yet. Yeah. So let me go back to this. Okay. Trying to retrieve your number. So 07. Don't know if it's okay for me to put it here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, let me just type it. So it's
791.
Yeah, 913232000. So,
yeah, then we'll mind the comma. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So amount will try could deduct from you 1 shilling. Yeah.
That's okay.
Just check your phone.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, yes.
the pop-up.
The
I don't know
prompt.
how. You got the
Yeah.
prompt. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if you can send a screenshot to put it here on chat. I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see.
Okay. Even though I've already paid.
I've already paid. Okay.
Yeah.
Should
But
I
I can
send
still
them?
share it. Okay.
So basically, as you've seen, he's already gotten the we've already gotten the it's called Authorization. Nini, he has already gotten the SDK push, and it's as simple as doing that. Okay, and remember to all we've had to do. So right now, if we're going to put this on code, we're gonna ask chat. Let's see. I think we can end it there. So so you can feel free to go through all this, but this is the most common one that most of us integrate. But the rest you can also feel free to use them because there are a number of APIs that will enable businesses out there to be able to drive easily. Okay. So now for this particular case here, let's minimize this. Okay. So yeah, so I'm saying for this particular case here, so you see right now we've already tested everything is working as expected here on Postman, right? So the next thing is just to integrate this, okay? We just need to send a post request for this button, okay? So let me see if we can be able to do a quick, let's create a simple page. Okay. Let me just check out how this looks. But I think maybe you can be asking your questions. So now let me create one more. Where have I put it? Okay. So let's create one more for payment. So let's say this one will trigger an SDK push. So I have not styled the button, but should be able to see. Yep. So this is the button that we want on click to trigger an SDK push, okay? And then, so let's create a function here. Trigger SDK push tests. So I think on your end as a dev or whatever you're trying to work on, so you can be able to easily, maybe do a better UI. So let's say at this point is where you want to, maybe they've already done their checkout. Maybe it was an e-commerce site. So maybe that place is called Pay Now. Okay. Okay, let me just even call it Pay Now. Or rather, yeah. So just assume, don't worry about this UI. Just doing a couple of tests here. So now you can just say pay. Yeah, pay now. Let's call it, let's say this is pay now, right? So now, when you, so for the user, maybe they're already doing something. Once they click on pay now, they need to see something. So let's see if our function is working as fast at first. So let's go to scripts. So let's create this function. So it's just using basic JavaScript for now, but it's the same in any language. So let's do an alert. Just see if it's working at the moment. So we're almost done. I know we are last time. So yeah, I think the function is working. So now, so the very first step here is, remember, we have to make API call to make API call to get a token, right? And let's say alert it for now. Okay. And alert it. So I think I'm gonna use a fetch. Just let me just prompt this. So Second. Sorry. Mm. Where have I put that function now? Trigger key push. So you can just chat this question, how to generate it in JavaScript. Yeah. So as simple as that. Got a prompt. Basically, you can see I'm just doing it on JavaScript. So just feel free to do the same in any language. So now you can see here, API URL, we need to put our endpoint. So I'll just come to Postman. So this one is for getting the token. Yeah, so I'll just, for the sake of time, just do that. So we can replace here with our actual endpoint. So now this one is to get token. So it's a post request. It's a get. It's actually a get. So a get does not need request data. So this one we just change to a get. So the body is practically empty. Okay. Yeah. So this one will just come in handy in the next one that we are doing for SDK push. So yeah, and then we are using fetch here in JavaScript to send the API. So this is the API endpoint, and now these are the options. Yeah, so we will alert the response. So and our headers. We need to add the basic auth credentials. Okay, so actually, let me just use the one on here because we actually generate it for you. So just come under APIs, go to authorization, just so that I don't take too much of your time. And let me just sample test app. Let me just generate it. So I want go to JavaScript. So as you can see, these are the headers. You see, this is this. You can just use this basic API call here to replace our function. Okay, let me see. So this one is already converted, and I want to show you an easier one. Okay, a practical one basically. This already just use AI here. Sorry, I think this is the last thing. So the reason I've done this is because in your end you'll be remember the nini is the consumer secret and the consumer key. So this one is already has already converted the basic auth token, so which might not be practical with what we are trying to do. So I'm trying to show you how to basically translate this currently on Postman to your code, right? So now this generate auth token, remember it was using basic auth, and this is my username and this is my password for my test sample. So I can copy it. Okay, so I'll replace the username here. Okay, and then for the password, let me copy this and replace here. Right, and then our endpoints. So as you can see, maybe if I need to explain this for somebody who has never used JavaScript. Sorry. Let me just explain it so that you can be able to translate it in whichever language maybe you're familiar with. So this particular function, remember, when it was starting, I said that we've created a button here called Pay Now, okay? So this Pay Now is calling a function called trigger STK push, okay? So when you go to this trigger STK push, we initially just checked if the button was working, and we are doing an alert button clicked, okay? So let me actually comment it out. So right now, maybe when you click on it, it will go ahead and do the API call using fetch here. But for now here, we are setting a couple of things. So we are saying this is the endpoint, the API endpoint. So because we'll be using basic auth, this is the username. So that is the consumer key. And then this is the consumer secret. So the username and string, it's converted using this thing called BTOA, which we need to install. I don't know if it's an inbuilt, I think it's an inbuilt JavaScript function now. Let me check. Yep, thankfully, but you can also always import it. So now, so ours is a get. So sorry, this was a post request. So we are doing a get for now. So you can see content type, application JSON. Now the authorization is now the basic auth, as you can see. So as you can see, whatever was here on Daraja, this basic auth was already encoded. The username and password was already, you can't see it basically. It was already encoded behind the scenes. But basically on your end, you'll just, it's called what? So we are using this this encoder here to convert it to a base 64, as you can see. So pretty much, so that's why the authorization now becomes basic, and now that base 64 string, which looks something like this, like that, okay? So technically, just don't think about what goes behind the scenes. So what you just need is you're trying to translate your code, which is here on Postman, all the way to put it on code, okay? And this example, you're using JavaScript. So, and you need to just set the authorization as basic auth. Our body is empty because it's a get request, just like that. So once the response comes, just say response status is okay, and then we will alert the response, okay? So I just also want to console.log the data that we get. Yeah, so that we see how to display it, right? And we can also console log in case of any error. Console.log error. Okay. So this is the first step. So we are trying to first of all get the token, and then we'll use this token to send the next API call, which is now triggering the STK push. Okay, so I'm almost done, and then I go to the questions. Jeez. All right, so let's go ahead and test it out. Let me open the DevTools. Can be able to see in case of anything. All right, so when you click on Pay Now, yeah, I don't have a body. Confirm. Where's my body? The body should be empty. Don't know why it's complaining. Let me refresh it. Pay now. Okay. Let me just remove the entire body element because it shouldn't be there. Let me confirm everything is okay. Get. I want to remove this alert here on click. Yeah, this one. Okay, so let's check now. So get. I'm wondering what's going on. Give me a second. But technically, you can see that we've basically implemented it on code. It's only that my JavaScript here is misbehaving. I had tried it before. It's just my username. But hopefully you get the gist of it. So let's try go quickly. How we are integrating it on the. So you just do the same with whichever language you're comfortable with. So as you can see, I'm just navigating between Postman and checking these values, making sure the body is correct, the headers. So our headers we just, okay, so the authorization is basic hours. That is set up correctly. So now it should be okay, it should be okay, it should be okay, it should be okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let me refresh. So now when you're clicking on Pay Now, failed to fetch.
Could it be that you defined the method twice?
Yeah, and I think I have. Now. No, it's just one. Two. Yeah. Thank you for that. So what's happening here? This is okay, this is okay. API, URL, the username, the password, it's a get. Yep. So let's console log. See error. That error. Let me confirm this method is calling which function. Control. Right. Let me stop this server and then start it. Let me go live. Right, so hopefully it should pick up. So let me go to DevTools so we can see what's going on. So now when we click on Pay Now, failed to fetch. We have to basically, I'll have to check on it, but technically, this basically technically that's it, pretty much. I think it does. It's failed somewhere, which I can just check on it later. Yeah, so probably I'll put it as a reply or on the same YouTube channel, this code. So the Nini or a link to where you can find the tested out one on JavaScript after this. So, but the basic point here is when you're integrating these APIs, so you'll just say, let's say where you want to make the payment, trigger the SDK push. I think there are a couple of things I need to configure for this one to be able to work. But anyway, so you just, here I'm trying to use fetch. I'll try to use a different library like Axios and to be able to send these API calls. But anyway, as you can see, we're just trying to send the API endpoint. And basically, in case of headers or the body request, we put it here. So in the case of doing, it's called what? This one, let's say for triggering the B2C payment, the C2B, which I meant. So basically that will be a post request. So that one, we will require the, here, we'll come here and put in body. Okay, so put in a body here and paste that. Work up it, everything. Yeah. So we need all this. Okay, let me just copy again. So as you can see now, all you just need to do is replace in your code, depending with the language that you're using. Yeah. So as you can see now, this is the body for C2B payment. Okay. So here maybe you can pass the someone's phone number dynamically, not actually this one. That one is for requesting. It's Lipa and M-Pesa Online. So this is the body. You see, there's nothing much now you need to do when you're now putting it to code. So you see now, once you put in our body like this, the person's phone number you can just pass it here dynamically. So let's say I can just say maybe phone number. Maybe this phone number is from an input value. So we just need to, it's called what? Need to do this. Okay. Let me try. Let me try initialize it. But anyway, so that's why I just pass the phone number. Yep, it's actually referencing to it here. So now, so you can see now this phone number, you can now change it dynamically depending with the user that you're trying to. So maybe let's say this phone number, you've already retrieved it in the person's Nini. So once they are paying, maybe they had already registered before. So you can just pass in the phone number here. So all you just need to do is pass the body. And then the method now will change to a post, right? Because it's a post request. And yeah, and then the authorization is bearer. So the authorization here will be bearer. So let's say we already got it, we already found our token. So if this API would have worked, so the response of that token is what now we will pass here. So the token response. So let's say token response. I hope you're getting it like right now. So basically the token response will be here. So now when you send this particular API request, we should be able to integrate. So here, actually also here. Yeah. So technically that's it. I think the recording stopped. But yeah, so but technically that's it. That's the long and short of it. So we basically tried to push it to code and then used fetch to send the API request. Then we should be able to get the alert and the responses. So that's it. So let me go to just check some of the questions here and try to answer them as quickly as I possibly can. So I had opened it somewhere. Let me start with the first question. What is happening with the utility and working accounts? I don't know. Maybe Douglas, can you elaborate on this question? I'm not basically gotten it.
Okay, I think maybe they were referring to production, and
okay.
Yeah.
So basically going live. Let me show
Yes.
that. Okay. So now, let's say you've already tested your sample here and you're actually integrating it to an actual shortcode. You'll come here to go live. Put in the shortcode of the person that you're trying to organize, or even your own shortcode here, your organization name and your organization username. So you should be able to get now the app credentials for a live account. Now, once you get app credentials for a live account, you'll also get the endpoints for a live account. You see here, now we are using, when you come under APIs, let's say like this authorization, you can see this endpoint. Let's just open it. You can see, where's this endpoint now? You can see now the endpoint here is sandbox. So now, once you go under the Go Live tab, you set up your credentials and accept terms and conditions, and now get the live endpoints, and you'll just come and replace here. So in your code, you'll just come here and replace the live credentials, and then on authorization as well, you'll come and put in the live for your app username and credentials for the live account, and also on the code as well. Let me open the code. So yeah, here under the code as well, you'll now put in the right endpoint for the live credentials, the right username and password. That's it, okay? That's what you're going live. So can I get codes for integration and maybe guide and a guide and your GitHub account if possible? Right. So I think maybe Douglas, I can create the guide for integrating with JavaScript, put it on GitHub and share, and then maybe you'll put it as well. Cindy, you can put all these integrations for JavaScript, and then you can use the same on GitHub. So we will share that after the call, probably by tomorrow. Then there seems to be an issue with the callback function in Sandbox. How do we solve that? A callback. So where we're using callbacks, let me see. Okay. So let's go back. So the code that has a callback. So I think I would say probably I might need to see that one. Basically what the problem was, but I think but you can see now this is the API with the callback. Actually, let me go and check it out on Postman. So when you're paying for something online, under the body, there's this callback URL for your case to your domain. So I think maybe if there's a problem, because let's say you can have a look at the endpoint that you're actually using as your callback, because for this, what you want is, if this transaction is successful, maybe you've created an API call for doing what? You've created maybe an API call, let's just say to query transaction status, right? So you can now put in your domain name and towards your endpoint doing that. So you can always maybe use a try catch and see the particular error. But if it persists, you can feel free to send an email at API support at safaricom.co.ke, and then we can have a look at your specific case. But usually, sometimes it's usually the endpoint that is added here. So, but maybe if the person is on the call, can clarify on the live chat the problem they were facing. So escrow service and required buttons. So escrow is still not yet on Daraja, but it's something that is currently in development. For those who don't know, an escrow is whereby if there are two people who are buying, let's say you're trying to buy a house or a car, you can put the money on the escrow account, and then the buyer, once they deliver the car, is when now the money can leave the escrow account to the buyer's account. So that is something you can see it's not yet exposed on the Daraja endpoint. It's something work in progress, but should come within maybe Daraja 3.0. Yeah, or rather, or on the M-Pesa app. Yeah, so it's something, it's still in development. Python SDK kit for M-Pesa integration. So as I had mentioned, actually, as you can see, our simple example here. Let me go to APIs. So when every single API call has the endpoint. So like in our case, we had one for JavaScript, but it's only that we wanted to do the long way where we are setting. It's called what? We wanted. You see here, even the basic auth is already configured. Is already, it's called what? Is already encoded to base 64, right? So in the code, so let's say now this is a sample example in JavaScript. Open that code. So you can see now for us, we needed to set the username and password right now and encode it ourselves so that now our authorization So as you can see here, so in Python, I think too, the only thing that you need to set up here, we have our SDK here in Python. So for this, as you can just see, is for JavaScript, we were using fetch. Here, as you can see, we're using fetch. Then we put in the endpoint, and then we are returning a promise. Like that, and then you're console logging. Actually, when you just paste this on our code, it should work, right? So I was trying initially to just, you can see here we have appended the headers and then done the fetch request. So when we now make our API call and just do this, maybe actually let me just show you that. So this test nini, so that at least we live with something. So you can see we've just done this. So now, probably maybe if my browser misbehaves, but this should actually work. Let's see. So when you click on paint now, so I'm heading towards answering the Python question. Failed to fetch. So I have a network error somehow. So, but you can see it tried to get, it went ahead to go to this request, but I'm getting a network error somehow. Something failed. So I'm getting a network error, which is something I can just check on it. But technically that's it. So obviously now on Python, you'll come under the Python tab. Just come under the Python tab for that person who asked that. And just basically copy this. This is what all you need for your integration. Okay. That's the for SDK. But probably we might also we can send a JavaScript one next to the Python one. I think Python is one of the common languages. We'll put it on GitHub and share. We will share in the community channel, or yeah, I'll share it to Douglas and then Douglas. So we'll make one for Python and for JavaScript. Do a video integrating a DRS system with InterSend. Also, I'd like to learn that too. I've not understood that question. Maybe Douglas will clarify that for me. After receiving the C2B pay bill, what other steps do I need to take to ensure our website is integrated with M-Pesa? Okay, after receiving the C2B pay bill, okay, customer to business, that is now the SDK push. What other steps do I need to ensure that our website is integrated with M-Pesa? So now, as I had mentioned, like you've now integrated this C2B payment here, right? So once you've done that, you can also use this one for experience. You can use this one to, first of all, maybe check balance or for that till number. If the customer was paying to a till number, you can integrate this to check maybe if the balance has updated. You can also integrate transaction status to always be checking the particular transaction status for that request. Okay, so just to be able to make sure that you can be confirming, maybe if people are paying, check the balance if the balance is increasing. Then you can also check transaction status. Maybe if a particular customer has made a nini, you can check the status of that. And if the user wants their money back, you can also integrate reversals. So I think those are some of the things that you can use in hand with the C2B pay bill. Okay, callback URL and callback handling. Seems that is an ini. So we will put a sample callback on the GitHub and share, whereby maybe we are doing a particular API call after we get a successful response for for a request, or maybe even to query transaction status. Implementing M-Pesa integration as a whole, I think that's what we've been going through. How to scale with APIs. Yeah, so I think some of the things that you can use to scale with APIs are some of these new API endpoints that I've mentioned, like M-Pesa Ratiba, bill manager, tax remittance. So if you're a freelancer, or you can like or rather, even if you're a software business, you can also include this as additional services to some of the services that you can offer while integrating for businesses to M-Pesa, or even your own business. Okay, so these are some of the Nini you can use to scale. Since pretty much the rest are just APIs that are doing like a specific item. So maybe I was thinking of scaling in additional services. So you can feel free to check out these additional services here. Cost running M-Pesa API in general, I think they are not much costs because remember, this is just a service. So on your end, I think the costs are usually maybe in withdrawing from your till number or pay bill, the transaction costs. But generally, the APIs are not being charged. It's actually free. You can integrate. So as you can see here, we were trying to integrate the SDK push. There's no you'll be charged with that. Okay. So the APIs are free. They're not actually charging you anything. Okay. So maybe if the money now goes to your till number and you're trying to withdraw from your till number, you'll face some transaction costs, which are normal, just the same way you withdraw from your M-Pesa, you get transaction cost, or when you're paying for something. Okay. So the API in general, they don't have any running costs. Okay. So maybe when you're hosting your backend, maybe wherever you're hosting, but these APIs are basically free in short. Daraja API, why it keeps on asking password every time? I think maybe it's just a security purpose, a security feature, where you don't want somebody to just log into your Daraja, and maybe even you have already prod credentials on your apps and somebody can see that, okay? So maybe it just turns out, which is just a security requirement, okay? But I think towards the entire, with activity, it won't time out, because as you can see, the entire time we are here, it hasn't timed us out at any point. Okay. Yeah. So those are some I can see from the form.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You've really done quite a good justice on the question. If you could also allow me read a few from the chat and try to generalize them for you.
Okay.
So someone asked initially the extension you're using on VS Code, I think. What was the name?
It's called Postman. It's just called Postman. Let me show you. Yeah, it's called Postman in short. When you go to Marketplace on VS Code, just search for Postman. So you can be able to, you can log into your Postman details, and you can be able to see all your Postman collections on VS Code. Yeah.
Great. That's okay. There's also something on production, and I think we can, maybe with your permission, some other time we can plan just a session on going to prod, because I know it's quite wide. We can't really cover it in this session. So perhaps later on, for those who are asking the very many questions on prod, maybe it's something we look at it into the near future.
Yes.
There are also questions around charges, which you've answered. Then someone is asking, is there a limit to the number of calls you can make? Though the question is a bit ambiguous. I don't know if you can understand it from that context.
Not really, because if you can think about it, like if people are paying and there's a limit to Lipa na M-Pesa. I mean, like some people won't be like there are many requests being received. Should there not any? There's not really a limit. Not unless you're doing the same transaction over and over, which will just time out after the first. You cannot repeat the same request again. Okay. So if the initial request fails, you'll initialize another request. But now there's no limit with the number of requests that you can make. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, I think he's answered.
Mm-hmm.
Then something around security, because you're using basic auth.
Yeah.
Now, there are two questions, but I'll just try to package them into one. There's also someone who was asking how to hide your APIs from the public, which I think maybe they are using a shared domain name. So is there a way perhaps to go around the keys, the password, and the general APIs, perhaps from a security point of view?
Yes, yes. So you can hide it using you can create a .env environment, right? So so this one you can reference to your nini. So you can put all your keys in a .env environment, which you don't even have to publish it on GitHub or anywhere else, right? So now when you come to your script, so you would do something like, so you see, like, for example, this request, the keys are not even shown here because maybe you've already done and so here, let me show. So here, instead of doing this, you can just reference to a .env environment, okay? So something like, let's say, username, okay? So put it on a env, then you'll just import it's called what? You'll import the env file, sorry, you know to how you can do that. So that is one way. Let me just stop this. So that is one way you can do it. You can just put this in a env and put it, the env, you'll put it in a gitignore. So there's no way you can be able to see it. You can even, for some, you can even create an API that fetches the credentials elsewhere and then just display, and then from the results, put it here without showing it. But the best way is put it in a .env, which will put it on a gitignore or store it somewhere else. And then just make a reference to it here, okay? You don't, so that it's not exposed on the code. Yeah. Same case on the endpoints and as well. I hope, I don't know if that answers your question.
I think
Yeah.
it's majorly answered. Yeah, there are very many ongoing questions, but I think some of them are intertwined. For those asking about production, we'll plan a session on that. So maybe it can be answered majorly around that. But someone was asking, if you get a till number, do I need other costs to do M-Pesa integration?
No. No.
Okay.
Once you get a till number, you see when you're going live, you'll just put in the till numbers, the shortcode here, your username and password, and that's all. Then you can just start integrating. So in terms of the API level, there are no costs. Yeah.
Okay. Related to that, there is someone, I think these questions are quite related as well, where you got the pested JS, which I think you got it from Postman. So where did you get the API spec for Postman? Perhaps are they publicly available or something for M-Pesa integration?
Oh, so to download the collection,
Yes, I think that's what
just
they were
click
asking.
here. Yeah. So when you click on any of these APIs, you see this Postman collection link, just click on it and then open it on Postman. Just import and paste this link. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they are.
So now once you import this link, it will come with it will now come with all this. This is how it will come. So it will come with all the nini. It will come with all all this. It will come with the name Safaricom APIs and all this endpoints. Okay. Yeah. So just click on here, Postman collection link, and then just import it on your Postman. And then it will come with all this. Then you'll start with the token. And then once you get the token, now you'll go ahead and like that. Go through what we've just said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that's answered for the person who asked it. Maybe to our very last bit on the questions, because I know they are quite a number. Then I know you had also promised to do the GitHub repo, the public one, which you can share. Maybe for those who are following through the code and at one point you got lost, we'll get a refined code with your promise, Joseph. That is.
Yes.
Yeah. So related to that is also when it comes to integration with that third-party content management systems like Wix. Is there a workaround now to leverage on Daraja and now integrate with that? I believe that is what that person was asking.
Yeah, I think that is
The e-commerce platforms.
Yeah, I think so that's something we can it's called what, like it's feedback we've taken. So like if we are trying to check out with Shopify and all that, and the integration to M-Pesa, I think we can also do a different session on that. And as well, there are some that are currently in progress. So it's feedback we've taken, which will be coming in the next iteration of Daraja, with some of those third-party integrations and how you can go around if you already used Shopify or Wix or all that. So, but I know Wix and it's called what? WordPress. There's actually a plugin for them. Okay, so WordPress has a plugin to integrate to M-Pesa and also Wix. But what I know most is on WordPress. So it's still the same, whereby on WordPress, once you get the plugin, you'll just be putting these credentials on the same plugin. Yeah. So for those who are not using the code directly. Yeah.
Okay. Then I think, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you can see even WooCommerce. I can see a couple of them have them. So yeah. So for those ones, those who are not using the code, you can just get these plugins, and then with these plugins, but you see now this for that parties, you have like this plugin is paid for. But once you get it, you'll just configure it the same way with how we are configuring it on the code. Okay. So, but these ones are not really managed by us, like the individuals who have made these plugins, but it's just to enable customers who are already on WordPress and all, and that can be able to integrate to M-Pesa on their WordPress site or WooCommerce site. Yeah, so for that, to answer the question, just use the plugins and then configure your credentials. Yeah. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, that answers. At this point, I'd like to really thank the participants for your active attendance and also trying to ask questions and in making the session more engaging. To you, Joseph, it's really been 2 hours of talking, and I know that's quite a lot, especially when it's an intellectual talk like this, having to do hard code and the very many segments you've taken us through. We can't downplay that fact. Yeah, so if you still have more questions, the conversation can get going. The live chat in the video, it's still there. Joseph, once in a while, you can be checking whatever you can respond to. But as promised, we'll be doing future events for something around production and very many other things that would come. We'd also love to see how Daraja 3.0 would look like. Yeah. So at that point, Joseph, I'd like to give it back to you if there's any more thing you'd like to let us know, maybe from your side or from the M-Pesa side or Safaricom side, maybe to the users, something that you feel it can be good for public consumption before we call it a day. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for having me, and thank you also for listening and engaging with the questions. So yeah, I'll be answering the questions, I think, on the chat, maybe even after the call. Yeah, so I think just to iterate what I've mentioned, this M-Pesa APIs on Daraja can be good business opportunities for people and also for fellow developers. So once you really know it very well, as we've done here, you can also feel free to share the knowledge with other devs or even do trainings. And majorly for businesses, you can once you learn to integrate this, you can approach businesses and help them set up maybe the SDK push. It will really help. You can even set up the dynamic QR code for a business that wants to check out without even having to do the SDK push. The user will just scan and they just put in their PIN and leave. So yeah, so it's something you can check on, and yeah, and this can be your hustle, basically doing this for on behalf of businesses and individual clients, depending on their use case. So I think it's a good thing to learn. Yeah. What else? I think that's pretty much it. In case of anything, you can reach out to on the chat. Yeah, or to Douglas. Douglas can always reach out to me. Yeah, and on the community forums that we've shared this, yeah, or even on the chat of the video after. So I think I'm gonna take it back to you, Douglas. Thank you very much. It's been an honor being here. Thank you.
Great. Some people are asking for your contact. I guess maybe you can leave a comment later in the video where you are comfortable for people to contact you, either on LinkedIn or something. They'll be able to get you there.
Yeah, I think you can share my LinkedIn, or rather, which is the best place, or my Twitter. Okay, I think I can comment it on the same. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So for our online community, thank you so much for supporting what we do. We are hopeful to really have quite a number of these sessions and also use the knowledge that Joseph has for the dev community and nationwide as well. We really hope, because M-Pesa is a thing, we can't downplay it. If you're talking about payments in Kenya, there's no way you can talk about payments without talking about M-Pesa. So it's quite a big thing. And for the nuggets you've given us concerning how to even develop ourselves as engineers or devs in as far as business is concerned, thank you so much.